Let's discuss set number 1 of CAT 2025 slot 1. Let's read the set. A train travels from station A to station E, passing through station B, C, and D in that order. The train has a seating capacity of 200. A ticket may be booked from any station to any other station ahead on the route, but not to any earlier station. For example, you can book a ticket from A to B, then from B to C, but you can't book a ticket from B to A. A ticket from one station to another reserves one seat on every intermediate segment of the route. For example, a ticket from B to E. Suppose someone is booking a ticket from B to E, then he reserves a seat in the intermediate segment B to C, C to D, and D. The occupancy factor for a segment is the total number of seats reserved in that segment as a percentage of the seating capacity. And the total number of seats reserved for any segment cannot exceed 200 because seating capacity is given as 200. So for example, occupancy rate is 50%, then out of 200, 50% seats are reserved in that particular segment. So that is the understanding of this part. Okay, let's read further. Now it says, so let me just try to draw and understand what the segment is. So train starts from A, reaches to B, then goes to C, then goes to D, and finally ends at E. So who will reserve their seat in segment AB are the ones who book their tickets from A to B or A to C or A to D as well as A to E. All these people will reserve the segment AB. Similarly, for segment BC, the people who book the ticket from A to C, A to D, and A to E. Similarly, B to C, B to D plus B. All these people who have booked these tickets will reserve the seat in segment BC. Similarly, I can write for segment CD, AD plus A plus BD plus B plus CD plus C. And what about segment D? That is A plus B plus C plus D. So from this way, I know in which segment what kind of people are reserving their seats. And similarly, you can write different number of tickets. Like the people who have booked their tickets between station A and B, I'll write AB. Similarly, AC, AD, and AE. I will try to know the values from whatever information has been given. BC, BD, and BE. CD, C, and last D. So there are 10 different tickets that can be booked. Okay, so now let's read the further information. Segment CD had an occupancy factor of 95%. Now 95% of 200 will become 190. So this segment's total reserved seat is equal to 190. So this becomes one of the equation where all these values will add up to 190. Now only segment BC had a higher occupancy factor. So it means you can say this segment has a higher occupancy factor. It means these total reserve sheet has to be greater than 190. Now join it with the last point. The number of ticket booked for any segment was a multiple of 10. Any multiple of 10 that is greater than 190 has to be 200. So this value has to be 200. Then exactly 40 tickets were booked from B to C. So this value has to be 40. And 30 tickets were booked from E to E. So this value has to be 30. So these are tickets that booked. Among the seats reserved on segment DE, that is this segment, exactly 4/7 from station before C. So for example, suppose I assume that X number seats have been reserved in segment DE. Then before station C, you're talking about AE plus B. This value has to be 4/7 part of it. So this value will become 4/7x and this value will become 3/7x. Now we know that all these segment has to be multiple of 10, right? So in that case, you can clearly say X can take a value of multiple of 10, and moreover, these numbers should also be an integer number. So I think X has to be divisible by 7. So a number that is divisible by 7 and has to be a multiple of 10 also. So this can take two values, either 70 or 140. So there are two possibilities. Like in segment D, either 70 people are going to reserve their seat or 140. Now these are two cases that we're going to analyze which one is going to be correct one. Let's read further. The number of tickets booked from A to C, let us take this to be Y, was equal to that book from A to U. So I'll take this value to be Y, and it was higher than that from B. It means Y has to be greater than 30. Great. Now let's try to figure out. We have been given that AE plus BE is 4 by 7x. If I take x to be 70, in that case this value become 40. And if I take x to be 140, in that case this value will become 80. Now if you have taken BE as 30, in this one AE will become 10. Now Y cannot be 10. Why? Because Y has to be greater than 30. So you can say this case is eliminated and we have to go with this case. So now you can say number of reserved seats in segment D has to be 140. And if this is 140, then you can say AE plus BE will become 80. And B is given 30, so AE will become 50. So now this value becomes 50. And similarly, this value also becomes 50. And similarly, you can say CE plus DE will become CE plus DE will become 60. Let's go further. No tickets were booked from A to B, so this value is 0. B to D, this value is also 0. And from D to E, this value is also 0. The moment you know that D is 0, then obviously C will become 60. So we know most of the value. Now the only thing is we can use this equation and try to solve and figure out other value. Like for example, just keep over here. AC is 50. AD I have to calculate. AE is again 50. BC is 40. BD is 0 and B is 30. So if you solve this equation, you get the value of AD. So let's calculate. 50 plus 50 is 100. 140, 170. So AD will become 30. And now let's solve this one. So AD is 30. AE is 50. BD is going to be 0. BE is 30. CD we have to calculate. And D is 0. Now you add it and make it to 190. So 30 plus 50, 80. 80 plus 30 will become 110. So if you subtract, am I missing any value? Yeah, C has to be 60. This value F. So you can say once again, AD is 30, A is 50, BD is 0, B is 30, CD we have to calculate, and CE becomes, CE is 60, not 0. I'm sorry, I've taken the wrong value. So now let's calculate 80, 30, 110, 60, 170. So CD will become 20. Now we know all the values, and based on this, we can easily solve all the questions of this set. So let's look at one by one. Let's look at the first question. What was the occupancy factor for segment DE? So I think DE reserve seats are 140 out of 200. So occupancy factor has to be 70%. So for question number 1, we can clearly say option 2 is going to be the correct answer, 70%. Let's look at next question of this set. How many tickets were booked from station A to station E? So you're talking about AE. That value I already calculated 50. So for question number 2, answer has to be 50. Next, go to the next question. Question number 3. How many tickets were booked from station C? So now from station C, how many tickets were booked? That is CD plus D. So CD is 20 and D is from station C. So CD plus CE. CD plus C is total 80. So for question number 3, answer is going to be 80. Go to the next one. What is the difference between number of tickets booked to station C and the number of tickets booked to station D? How many tickets are booked to station C? Station C means AC plus BC. So now calculate the value of AC plus BC becomes 90. And to station D means AD plus BD plus CD. So AD is 30, BD is 0 and CD is 20. So this is 50. So 90 minus 50 will become 40. So for this question, answer has to be 40. Got it? AC plus BC. So AC is 50 and BC is 40. So this makes it to 90. and to station D is from A to D, B to D and C to D. So you can calculate 30, that is given as 80, then 0, then 20. So this value is 50, so difference has to be 40. Last question this set. How many tickets were booked to travel in exactly one segment? One segment means AB, BC, CD and C. So you have to calculate the value of AB plus BC plus CD plus DE. So AB we have got 0, BC we have got 40, CD we have got 20 and D we got 0. So this answer has to be 60. So for question number 5, answer has to be 60. That's it. Thank you. Bye-bye.